Yes, we are live. Famulem, I bring warm greetings to now from the TNN TV podcast. Today, now the 24th of June, 2024. And once again, they come to now with very serious issues affecting the time, the conditions of the country, security, social, and political, which we've been talking about for great many years now. Of course, the space is saturated with bloggers. So people allegiance, sort of split around depending on waiting people they want for yeri. And say in this endeavor, we get few people and we kind of tied into waiting the one for yeri, now in the one for yeri, now in they go look for listen to. And no matter whether it's true, if it's objectively checked, fact checked, now waiting the one yeri. For example, the one yeri say tomorrow the APC they return to power. Tomorrow there will be a rerun or runoff in the elections. They love that kind of talk. So it doesn't matter about some grammar or academic analysis. It doesn't really matter to them. But what we know does matter is we cannot have selective facts. Fact na fact, nothing but the facts. So now that this platform will continue for champions. So today, as soon as we see the title, we want to talk about the tripartite, this ongoing thing where in my own opinion is too long. It's been going on for too long. Why should the review of the electoral process, we laws, we institutions, it takes 6 months, here for review them and then compile a report and do a recommendation? Why is it 6 months, half a year? Half a year. I mean, this is outrageous. This is uncalled for. This is disgusting at best. Now, so Missy, I'm infamous. I'm just expressing my view. So today, one can talk about the tripartite itself, whether it's still they continue or not, and why it's still they continue. But we want to speak the truth as we understand them. So, una keep tuning. Yeah, una we don't tune in, and let we continue for shape. We can write back for can tell una the way I we see them today and why we see them the way I we see them. This na the TNN podcast. My name na Prince Emil Koma. Today na Monday, the 24th of June 2024, and the time na my side is 17:03. Coming right back. Don't touch that dial. All right, once more, welcome to the TNN podcast. I'm happy for see everybody. We don't begin tuning. There's about 20 of us. Obviously, strange time for let we broadcast 5 o'clock in the afternoon. But if you can help for shape, we go appreciate that. And I want for let family use the chat room for communicate either to me or to the world in general. You can say where you're watching from. We really and deeply appreciate that. You can also express your views. You can be critical of me or critical of somebody else, then comment. But please, let's keep it respectful. So the great, Assalamu alaikum, Prince. I'm watching from Woodbridge, Virginia in the USA. Wow. The great. Thanks for watching all the way from Woodbridge, Virginia. Fambulen, this has been ongoing for quite a while. Let's be honest about this. And to me, it's too long in the making. A review of the process. This is not a constitutional review they call for, not just the election process that's been ongoing. We not look right with institutions and etc. People and go think in a big work, but not to that extent. Waiting actually they ask for. Now do a review of the electoral process. Waiting happened the last time so that it not go happen again, or waiting happened in previous times so that it not go happen again. Who were those complicit with institution and role inside the process, and how for change them so it not go happen again. So the rule, governance and the rule of law is very critical in our country. We went to war. We fought a civil war because of this same thing, so that we go change the culture of the political landscape. But it seems like nothing of that kind has since happened. The law is still being manipulated. Institutions are still being compromised. There's hardly any independence in the institution. The rule of law is questionable. The country is now in a political impasse. Well, not everybody agree, but if you think, say, the situation normal, and in fact, while they talk about the very issue where me, they say make the state not normal, then you're out of your mind. And this now are the thing as well. I mean, the political illiterate, social illiterate, economic illiterates are multiplying. Like I say from the beginning, some people just want for your waiting and one for your not the real truth. Then just one for your like for example, tomorrow Malabio is finished. Oh yes, if not that you they say and that now you headline, of course people then will flock to the show. But imagine how you deceive people then that there will be a rerun or a runoff. There's nothing like that on the card. Fambulema, they can't tell you now the truth today as me see them. So first of all, I'll begin with the conversation based on just after the elections. If we can recall, because there's so much happening that we barely not remember how the entire thing began. So I don't want to go back to the elections because we talk, before elections, because we talk about that a lot. We talk about the manipulation of the system and the complicity of the very party where they complain now about the system. Then within a parliament, some of the law them where we get for talk about on another broadcast, like the election laws, for example, where they tamper with, and they know say very well it goes suit the current government and waiting them in the try for call for they help for pass that law. Then within a parliament, not to foresee and not be needy, they help for pass the law. Okay. And like I said, I don't want to talk about that chapter day. We don't go past that chapter day. So we talk about after. So after the elections, if we can remember, the APC boycott taking up the seats they will win or joining government in the business of governance. Because why? They've been a protest. They've been there against waiting happen. So therefore they say, as a consequence of waiting happen, where they feel say not being right, then they take up their seats in a parliament and other places, them including the mayoralty, the municipality of Freetown. Then they take them out all. But somehow they manage to reach the agreement. The question we Sierra Leoneans, them as a whole, not ask, which agreement will they reach? Waiting been there inside that agreement they will they reach? Famulem. Have we really asked that question? No, I don't think we have. We haven't really asked that question this seriously. Because like the bulk of us, like I say, the political, economic, and social illiteracy where they inside we, not they help we at all. So therefore, triction, then continue for trick we into believing, waiting and say, like say now we interest and they represent. So then always they package something for we and then give to we. In fact, the thing when they give yourself, we not even bother for peruse and for read them, for scrutinize them. No, we just accept waiting and say, and this is year in and year out, decades in and decades out. The same thing continue for happening. And this night exactly they happen with the tripartite, in my humble opinion. Now, like I say, we haven't asked the question, what in the inside a package did the deal with they reach, then definitely did reach a deal. Because if me accuse you of something, and then I say I need to take up my position because of XYZ, therefore we get for meet up and we talk. And when we talk, we get for agree on something before I take up my position. So what am I trying to say? Eventually, the All People's Congress take up their position. And when they take up their position, that means they reach a deal. Then accept waiting was proposed to them or between them and the other side, then find a middle ground where they reach. That middle ground where they reach. Now on that basis, so then go take up their position. But have we ever asked? I'll keep the repeat this because this is crucial, this is critical. Have we ever really asked what was in that deal? Apart from the rubbish them where we the all around, because immediately when something happened, social media is saturated with stories. I mean, thousands and thousands of stories. Them, some of them deliberately for derail we thought process, for shape we opinion around something which is not true. So many stories that in the end we never really forget the real story as to what really happened. This has been happening. Waiting have been the deal where they agree with before APC decide for take up their seats in the parliament. Waiting have been the deal where they agree with before the mayor decide for taking seat na the municipality. What were those deals? Have we actually asked ourselves? Because then deals then they lead, and that make they emphasize, then lead to the situation where we day in today, where some people call the hotel agreement. And the hotel agreement it is. When me they say, it's been too long too long, 6 months plus, over half a year. And you just need for consider the presidential term of 5 years, and then still they give people in habo. So until we find out what was actually in that deal where APC agreed to it and decide for take seat in the parliament and other places, then we are missing a big chunk of what the real story is. Now, let me move on, here to part of the conditions inside this tripartite, because the tripartite is a follow-up to that deal they wouldn't agree with. But what was that deal as a whole? What was it? Few people are privy to it. So the small one with a leak, bloggers then pick down the up and begin for disseminate them in their own different interpretation, depending on which tribe, which color they represent, which candidates they represent, which region they represent. And also they begin for flow them out. At the end, the middleman gets completely confused. And if you ask over 85% of Sierra Leoneans, them, we don't know actually what the truth is regarding the deal that APC reached. This is not a matter of fact. So they move on into this wonderful tripartite deal. Before then they go into this tripartite talks, the hotel talks. Remember, I say you get for lay the groundwork as well before you they go into that kind of conversation. You they go into a deal before now they reach the deal. So you get for lay the groundwork. Each side get for make and compile notes. Things them way they get for put forward to the other put forward to the other, especially when you get mediators, middleman them ready for negotiate, on behalf of the country. Then potentially not get any side interest other than the sanctity and security of the state so that it doesn't implode, because we've been there once. There's no need for us to go there again. No need at all. But it seems like some people are hell-bent. Politicians, non-politicians, activists, then we're supposed to play a neutral role and just be active in highlighting the situation where the country fell in. They too have been compromised. So these people then come together, then table the grievances, and then they begin for look into them. So now negotiation, so now give and take on the table. But on a negotiation table, you can always get one party where get more advantage than the other. Sometimes the advantage can be too deep, too far-fetched. Sometimes the advantage not can be too far. In other words, now slight advantage one person can get, but on the table, all the agreement they will be don't see or talks they will be don't see. Any tell person they go on the table, there is one party will get advantage. And in this case, the government get clear-cut advantage. Clear-cut advantage. APC, now the complainant on this program. But the question what I want to ask, and I don't ask this many a times, why were not other parties involved? Over 12, 13, 14 parties there, if I'm not mistaken, I think we'll get 17 of them. They feature on the elections. This is really, really important. But how come when it come back to talks about the future of the country, the revision, the review of electoral laws in our country, it only involved them two parties there? When I ask question one time, I think I get some ridiculous answer from somebody who say, not because of the PR system. But the PR system not been prohibit the other one them from participating. They did. It was a multi-party elections involving more than two of the party they now where they negotiate. So what me understand from the people them on the inside is one of the conditions. So it's what I've been talk about talks, where people they go into talks, then they lay condition then down. So then the other side not can accept the conditions, so there can be delay and DD and all kinds of things where they go on. Say, well, we not agree to that in the way they talk, and this now the advantage come inside to people them. We get the advantage, clear-cut advantage if they go into a talk. Because you were there in a lesser advantageous position where you propose something, you got to be careful, because if it's too hard, the other side will get clear-cut advantage. Might just say, oh, come on, I'm not accepting this. This is rubbish. So you got to go back to the table and go retune them, rejig them, and then come back again to something acceptable by the other side. So what you mean to understand is like the APC call for the other party, they're not for participate on the talk. This was a terms and condition that they laid down. That is yet to be verified, Fambulem. It's yet to be verified. But from waiting at the understand Enyeri, and those where they listen, where they participate on that conference day right now, that talk day right now, they will know the truth. That the APC insisted, say, no, we don't want any other party on this particular talk. Well, that make them easy for the other side, and this is not something we then go accept. The current government get a clear-cut advantage. Clear-cut. So they say, okay, if not so you want, well, we go get for follow this. And I want let Fambule know something. You see, political party, they always they play on we, the people. I don't care whether not red, I don't care whether not green, whether not rainbow or what have you. Just think. They play on us. And this is so very true right now. For more than 6 months, let's say more than 1 year, one party don't they mislead the general public, including their followers them. They give them the impression of something to be which is not to be. I repeat, one party don't they give the nation and their followers them the impression of waiting, then think say they want for be, but it's not going to be. And they fully know that it's not going to be, because this is not part of the conditions and the talks. But yet they continue for give that impression. And this has been running for like almost 6 months. One of the reasons then why I say the current government get the clear-cut advantage is some of it is hard speculation, but backed up by receipt, by evidence. For example, when the first lady can come out and say, we get the receipts them of people where they come to me, man, at odd hours. Me not see that as impossible, by the way. Say the president go to have meetings, here with stakeholders, government officials, opposition party leaders, and others. Not an impossible thing. These are things that happen. But the context here does really matter. There's an ongoing talks. And the party they want to go meet the president now for different thing, other than waiting they go on. Either they go for a brown envelope, either they go for conversation for go win the president in favor. I mean, all of these things are happening, and the woman don't come out several times for tell the nation. It sounds a little bit immature, but that has been helpful to people like us, political pundits, analysts, media personalities, them, where they observe the language being used by public officials. And this includes the first lady, who is very vocal. She's very political. And she prove for say she's getting a little bit savvy inside politics. Remember from the beginning, just the huff and puff and just talk. Now, I wonder how many people will disagree with me. She has come of age, don't mature to some extent, where what it say is calm and measured and deliberate when it put them out there. It's deliberate, for make people understand what it talk. So what am I saying here? It is true that people are going to the presidency at odd hours, out of hours, for go have a conversation with the president. Some of them, like I say, for go tout the president for favor them. Some people they want to be the head of the party, the All People's Congress. That's definite. They want to lead the party. And I'll give you this hint, okay? President Bio is going to be influential in the election of the next APC candidate, flag bearer. This is a historical fact. You need to go back to as recent as Pakaba, 30 years ago, but now the Second Republic, the ushering of the Second Republic, now make I go back there. It be influential in Aneskoma in Kanwana power. You can't say no to that. So Aneskoma be equally influential up to this day. Is being blamed for touting, bringing Marabio closer to power. Some people say in a cell game. I don't know, but I just look at the pattern. So Kaba was influential in bringing Aneskoma to power. So was Aneskoma in bringing Marabio to power. Of course, there's a fallout, but who knows what's happening on that high level. So yes, these people then continue for go to Marabio against the young party, the ethos, the principles of the party, and they go to Ram. Of course, why? Because they know what I just say is true, that he's going to be influential. Why again? Because the man is in control. Is in control of all the services, which is essential and critical to the making of the future of the country. In other words, politically speaking, the president is in charge of the judiciary, a significant component of state. So is he with the legislature, the parliament, and of course, he's the head of the executive. Now, in theory, then tell we say these three bodies, very key in the running of the state, has to be independent of each other, even though they work in tandem and complement each other in the smooth running of the state. So that if we want typically describe them as an engine, it will be a well-oiled engine, the lubricants, all the parts, so that every part they function, all the cylinders are in action, and there's no hindrance at all. So the state they move fine. But that is in theory, my friend. In real practice, we all know this by now, that the president is the supreme being in the country, the be all, the end all, the alpha and the omega. This is not fact. So if you are there, just like before Mother Bio, we saw what happened, the sacking of a vice president, the manipulation of a system, to fit in with that. Why? Because the incumbent at the time had the power to do so and did that. And I'm sure that's one of the greatest regrets, and that affects the APC party to this day and for a long, long time to come. So this current administration is doing a similar thing. Remember, we had Justice Fisher, which I'm coming to, the political judge, whose business in the judiciary was the political assassination, if you like, in inverted commas, of political opponents of either the presidency or the party as a whole, the SLPP. These are all facts. And these are the instruments being used today. When I say the president holds a clear advantage in every talk that they go to, this is exactly what I'm alluding to. So Fambulele will not get this twisted. So when the first lady also come on and talk about the presidency, how people in the can visit, this now exactly they talk to. Now, what we need for imagine, if people and they come to the president and then they can't talk, then shumu, 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 definitely there's a recording, there's a tape recording, there's a video recording of these things. So imagine the advantage, clear-cut advantage we then get. That's why none of these people have not go ever come out and can challenge the presidency at all. Never. Then go only mumbo jumbo around the periphery, but not the reality. Because why? They've got something on them. And this is how intelligence agencies work, whether not the CIA, international, the KGB, the former KGB, the FBI, local, MI6, international, MI5, local. Then get waiting and call dirt, dirty, by almost all man. So if you become prominent and they want to control you, all they need for show you now receipt of them, you filthy talks them over the phone or videos them of you in compromising position. We go make you not even get voice for talk. This is what Marabio has, and he's got this all on APC. So this talk for return back to the talk of the tripartite, the president get clear-cut advantage. Now APC now they go and waste time and they give people the impression that there will be a rerun and runoff, and you get political numbskulls and pinheads. We continue for believe this thing. Now they read in between the lines. Come on now. How much more do you really need for C? How much evidence you really need for own that they understand this? The tripartite is done. It's done with. Now, would I go and waste time? Would I ask for 10 more days? You feel saying that the government asks for 10 more days? No. The government just they play along, because in the end, APC will have to come out and talk and tell the people the truth. It wasn't about runoff or election rerun in the first place. Somebody start introducing that into the general psyche of those of us where they watch and listen, but not every one of us believed that, because we were seeing the communique. It was about reviewing the conduct of the elections with institutions and etc., so that these things don't happen again. Strengthen the pillars of democracy, and then continue for tell me that there's going to be a rerun. You see, just they create tension. The way done, you see them, then go take picture. They all they smile, not so, because then they're in the midst of the president, in the midst of the man we get them small kuku jumuku on all of them. Where I'm not a fan in many ways of the first lady, but there are things that she says, that I listen to. I don't just dismiss, her things. And one of them is this: it's true, because we know, apart from she not saying it, even if you not say then still they go meet the president. But like I say, this is something acceptable in a different context because, of course, the president away from the official place of work, in official office in the state house, is still the whole court now in residence, state lodge. Not only politician and they go there, ambassadors, extraordinary plenipotentiaries, they do visit the president at his presidential lodge where they discuss matters of state. Now, they say this is not strange. But the idea, some of them are going there for a different reason. And I go tell you now more, Famulem. This is really, really interesting. I just see one or two people make comments quickly. I don't want to miss anything. With all due respect, sir, how can the media continue to tell the people of Sierra Leone that it's all over when the findings and recommendations of the tripartite are not out yet? Okay, Mohamedou Jallo, I think you make a good point, sir. How will the media continue to tell? I don't think the media has been continuing to tell. Okay, not all of the media. Some of the media and like exactly what they do now. But we also get to remember, Mr. Jallo, that we get part and parcel of this agreement already where we know the direction that is going. They are only coming to read this out. They've already given us a taster and we've been following it from the day that it was said and done. Waiting and they follow, waiting and supposed to do the rules and conditions. If they come and tell me any other thing about rerun, that's going to shock me and surprise me. But I don't think that's on the table. So as an opinion person at this particular broadcast now, I'm intimating, I'm preempting the outcome already because we know the terms and conditions that were set out in the first place. So I hope that helps. This is where I'm coming from. Let me say exactly, I don't want to miss anything. Yeah, this is interesting. I'd encourage more of this in the chat room, please. We go pay attention to that. The other parties are being compromised with SLPP, so no need for them to join, and APC did not accept the outcome of the election results. That is why. So if APC not be accept the outcome of the election results, now they can ask the question, which is possible because now that we they not be accept the outcome of the results. That's why they boycotted government from the initial stage. This is now the second or third phase now we did in SOAP and tripartite. So what was that initial agreement, the great? This is my question. The great also come up with something else. The people will come out and ask you here, vote or results. So I don't understand this well, but in the little way I understand them, and I've been saying this. In the end, it rests with the people. Now the people and I get for make that decision day. So if the APC not get the mind for call the people and say, okay, let me take this out to the people as a referendum. I recommended this the other day because this is not the best way out for them. Then they're in a tight spot. Then really they're in a tight spot. So the best thing for them, in my own humble opinion, is to ask the government that they want to take this as a referendum to the people, what the people say, because this thing big pass, we all remember now only this one party, now they negotiate with the other party, we say they win. And then get others. What about the others? So best way out, and even for the APC, is to take it to the people as a referendum, let the people decide. Then you go know the reality because we know where the reality lies. But for now, if people and they go to the president, you undercover and what have you, under the cover of darkness, they go negotiate. That's a completely different thing altogether. And let me introduce something else. When I say the president get a clear-cut advantage, place is very hot, man. Heat wave all over Europe and America. Remember the COI reports, not so? So first thing first, when the president can appear, the president commissioned a commission of inquiry. The transition report written or authored by the former chief minister, Professor David Francis. Okay, and he authored that report there. We know that report there. I read the report, so not to hear say and they say. While one can talk, I want to take them for talking, and while they talk, I don't want for look back. So I read the report. I saw what the report said. I'm not satisfied fully with the report because I know the report, in my opinion, was compromised in many respects because there was some regional and political overtone to it. And you can't say no to that. That's real. In which, in the end, we see exactly what I suspect for play out. What do I mean by this? The politician they will begin for see where them the dragging turn out for be politician them only will belong to one party. It turn out for be people them with them drag in for question for cases of corruption. Turn out for be people them from one region of the country. Yet the broader note of the transition report spell out that everybody will be involved with government in, I think, 3 categories. I'm not able to remember again, but 3 levels of government. In other words, minister and 3 categories of government. Everybody will serve from 2007, 2012, 2000 to 2018 when the APC lost power. In then level a day, they will have to answer questions based on the outcome of that report. The president commissioned a commission of inquiry. Biobele, where they bring come from abroad, I understand, make this magnificent money, and you could see in the end where they give report how emotional he was because he made so much money. How much he was being paid was astronomical. And then adjusting salary, to the other mass demo where they bring come. And in the end, we've seen a mockery of the entire exercise after taxpayer money being spent. But that's not the issue here today, because I think so we'll not adjudicate on this already. The real issue here today is Family, spare me 1 minute. Tala, can I call you back, please? Okay, then, thanks. The real issue here today is this are also a tool to the advantage of the president or the party in power. I repeat, you see, these are the little things that we need for understand. We get for no say. The people them who are in question, the one the way they negotiate, the one them way they head the opposition party. This include the head of the All People's Congress, Dr. Samora Kamara. Get 2 major cases. Remember, I talked earlier on about the political judge. You see, we get for do the connections for actually see where we are coming from and how all of this makes sense. When we talk about the political judge, where he just there for prosecute people them. Okay, then Adrian Fisher. He was politically inclined for prosecute people them from the opposition side. So Dr. Samora, who is the head of the All People's Congress, is having multiple cases, let's say 2 major cases. Sarah Rutile. No, not forgettable. Because these are the things where we move to another chapter and we forget another chapter. And then we need to see the connections, here from one chapter to the other. Dr. Samora also gets the New York Chancery case now he had. Those cases were not dismissed. Those cases actually exist to this day. And if you cannot see that this is a clear-cut advantage in terms of the law where the president intends for use against these people, and this is not dirty politics, but applicable all over the world, Western world, Africa, and etc. You have dirt on you opposition person. So the president gets that report, they line in desk with all these names on them. So it's easy. You can call them blackmail. You can use whatever adjective you want for use. But me get this report in front of me. We clearly compromise your position and say you are guilty of corruption. Okay? Or even if they say you are not guilty, but the idea that you in and out of court, remember that when they go on, and a temporary stay, now let me give Dr. Samora. At some point, we get for ask ourselves, how come now finally the law where the president they manipulate willy-nilly agree say, okay, doctor, you go hold your election and we will come back to this. So then suspend the case. Does this make sense to us? Then suspend the case, and then the flag bearer of the APC go conducting election, and of course lost. But it contests the election results, and rightfully so. But then he get all this didiba hanging over his head. Where now the president they use as a carrot and stick approach on Dr. Samora and co. So if you're there in that situation there, in my opinion, now 2 things now involved. So you either don't give a damn, you say, well, whatever is going to happen, let it happen because I represent a nation, a huge chunk of the nation, apart from your own political party, or I've been in public service for over 40, 50 years, if possible. And me principle, me integrity, is at stake. But there is a leverage being used now against me, which I can compromise for save me neck. Keep me whatever intact after all these many decades of public service. I keep them intact. And this is a deal that the president is willing to do because what he needs is recognition. And Dr. Samora they in a position for do that recognition day. But of course, there are other people around the party who's not agreeing to that. But then in reputation, they at stake. The president get a firm grip on him balls, when I excuse me, German. A firm grip on him balls. And now there's not much Dr. Samora can do but continue to buy time while they prepare the public for what is to come. Because for too long, the general public, especially those supporting the All People's Congress, has been made to believe that there will be a rerun stroke runoff. Was it ever on the card? No, it was never. But there's a potential for that because if you contest the results and the results happen for be true, say what you they contest, you are right. Somebody has to prove that. But where does this has to be proven? Now the court. The court owned by President Biu, which was going to rule in his favor. Now the same court now will talk about justices and magistrates, then will be the rule against APC officials, then Fiti Fata. And that takes us back to the very beginning of President Biu administration back in 2018 when he won the elections. 10 APC parliamentarians were injuncted. The APC do the same to the SLPP within the same period. What really happened? They injuncted APC officials, elected parliamentarians. The injunction stand. They pulled them come on a parliament with the exception of one. Who was that one? He's still prominent in the APC today, and that happens for be Cherry Coco. We turn out to be the leader at the time of the party na parliament under in administration na parliament, head of the opposition, where there are many controversies around them. This is not me saying it is for public view. It's all over the place. He survived and then became party leader in the House. And during his tenure, all these allegations, multiple allegations, and then we still sleep. In the sleepwalk we into the abyss of destruction, and we are complicit in it. We agree. We're walking with them because we believe, not looking back at the trail, if you want to call it death trail. Okay. Now, they deprive all the APC people of going into parliament. We knew why, first of all, that was instigated. This is the thing. Okay. In the try for solve a crime, one of the major things where you want to know, first of all, is motive. Waiting to be the motive behind this. We know why the president wants a majority for his party in the parliament. So that when you're ready for doing things, it will just pass. If they send impress and then they talk about that theatrical play, say, well, for increase the president in salary, then where they fly, nobody know for check them, no independent report, they say send them back to them, in Kalo. It doesn't even need to because we see now waiting to happen. But that was the idea. Let's be honest about this. Within that same vein, the APC injunct several SLPP parliamentarians then around the same matter where they charge the APC parliamentarian elected officials then with. And believe me not, as we speak to this day, that case has not been heard. I mean, do I need to say more? So we move on. They talk about corruption. We see all this corruption, they at play. And what we say here is, if you accuse John of corruption and the evidence is available, then let John be prosecuted. If you've been saying at the transition report, you are going to go after everybody from minister to deputy minister to managers or whatever, we served between 2007 to 2018, regardless of which party they belong to, which part of the country they come up from, then why not go after them? Why did you have sacred cows? To a point, it became so loud that the president said, well, after all, because some of them whose name appeared on the list that should have been on the trial were serving in his administration. And who were those people? needless for me to go back into that, because by now we all know. There's no if, no but. We all know. Yet these people were sacred. And the noise became so loud because it became too obvious that what you're doing is a political persecution. And this is hypocritical, contrary to what you outlined from the beginning of your administration. They say, well, these people, let them continue for serve. Where APC, imagine how petty the conversation was. When the people are the term reach, in other words, they say, when APC get for return of power eventually, because now then two, now tweedledee, tweedledum, two cheeks of the same backside. And they can take action against them people there. So just imagine. Just imagine. Let's go to the speaker. The surreptitious election of the Speaker of the House in broad daylight. Broad daylight. And this was from the very beginning. But if you not been catch up what was to come, then you were daydreaming. You were daydreaming. Because we've seen it play out. It was a chapter. It was written. And it played out right before we. Famulem. For avoid jail. For avoid the seizure of property them. Okay? Now, they leverage this way the president they use against the same people that where they negotiate the tripartite, i.e., the main man, Dr. Samora Wilson Matthew Kamara. They get case in head. So you either go back to court, and the court we know it's not going to be fair. And we know this. We say this because the APC has said this many a times. Why they're not going to court for go challenge the election results? Because why they don't trust the court. And why? Then get similar cases of the past. Then get evidence, for allude to, for point to of the past. So now make them not go there. So now this same man get cases in a court. Like they tell you, now not forget, the New York Chancery was politically motivated, but it's still hanging over his head. So anytime they can do a back on a court. The moment where he refused for play ball, and this is what I'm saying, there is no hope. There is no hope. You need somebody clean to be there. And this is why, in your opinion, again, the president in your other advantage from this tripartite talk, now for use them for suppress any other candidate who want come up. And this now in cahoot with the old APC guns them. Suppress any other candidate, independent, will not get all the excesses there. Because that's what the party will need. Somebody new, not get any of them baggage there, we're attached to them. But no, the president won't allow that. So part of the tripartite leverage now for make sure say they not allow anybody we clean, we vocal, and then get few. I don't see a few. I can name a few, but I will hold back on this for now. So not allow them for kind of rise up. I mean, try for figure this out. Really try for figure this out. So you either lose your property, then seize them after all the decades of work. And the typical example where you go look at, especially from the APC, is a man where they call Alpha Khan. Why do you think Alpha Khan trust court? I mean, you only need for look back at waiting the man in the sea some time ago and waiting in the sea now. I mean, that's a 360. If you do any other act, you might end up broken your neck or your limbs or your spinal cord will go. Because that's a steep spin. And imagine, there's no integrity at all in the sense that, but you go take time, manage the conversation. But you just flip a 360. Once upon a time, it's like, well, and that's not interested by any rerun. We don't talk, I mean, this, that. Now you out there, they talk, you're like some other woman WhatsApp, you just, they talk rubbish and they mislead people, in the media and things that you get clout. And don't forget for no say, naturally clout, now they deal with. Not current at all. Let me hear what Sniper say. Let me get to the conversation quick in the chat room. All right, Sniper, you are making so much sense. Thank you, brother. The great. Everybody knows they stole the election. The great. Let me also say, this is what I think, and I've said it many a times. So it's not like we don't know. It's the process that now we talk about, brother. The process now we talk about, where there's still the election waiting for go through. Now the people where they take or suppose for take the government to court and not take the government to court. They say no, they go to court because they don't trust the court. but they are in conversation in a hotel agreement on the way forward for the country. Think, brother, use your brain. And the people are soiled. Dr. Samora has a case of serious magnitude we hang over in. I don't even know why he stand the election based on that, because you see now he's been compromised on that basis. Because the president was always going to use that as a leverage. I drive you go back na court. It's simple. So yes, the evidence points to the fact that the election was stolen, because why? I say so publicly. I've said so. Me na one person will come out and congratulate the president on the election. I had my suspicion, but the country needed for move on. I don't want to see any more war. Yeah, that not means I've been critical of him for many, years, up to a point where people from the party refuse to come on the platform on that basis. But it's not personal, it's just on the state basis. As a patriotic citizen, I'm doing my job by calling on the presidency or the administration to do the right thing. I can't be hitching on APC. After 6 years, APC not in a power, not to them responsible for policies where they shape the progression of the country. And people that want for me for they do that every time, there has to be a counter argument. 6 years, the government in a power. No, I disagree fundamentally. It's the government that's in power that we need for be pointing our fingers to, that we need for hold accountable. Anybody they do the other, all time APC, SLPP, 6 years in power, and yet there is barely any progress. I mean, that in itself is troubling, and we therefore check them people and they up how sincere they are. That's what the problem is, in my opinion. So me they see I'm like say this is not the leverage. So potentially, the president could allow Dr. Samora for go forward with the elections, knowing fully well that he get this heavy package on him. That it can challenge him any day, that it can take the action the way it takes so by rigging the elections and etc. And knowing fully well that the man waited before the thing, he himself, like some people like he say, not a politician. I believe say he's a politician, yeah. But I'm not a politician with that caliber. They were vocal, way aggressive, and they talk about positive aggression. Where he give ultimatum, he go stand by the ultimatum. And there are people in the party who fit that your sort of description. They're very vocal. I mean, we know them. These people that come up from up the hill, we don't see them in public spaces, how they conduct themselves. They would have been far different from the 70-year-old plus man, Dr. Samora. I mean, I respect him a lot, but owing to the present circumstances, the climate, I don't think he was the right man. He's the right man, especially with the baggage, and that's my opinion. Please respect my opinion. So Sniper say until the opposition is able to come up with a candidate with a clean slate in terms of corruption, they will always be subjected to abuse, blackmailing. Thank you very much. This is my exact point I'm trying to make. The president gets so much filth on most of these people, brother. Now make I say back, they use this tripartite as a leverage. Now you get beaucoup advantage inside, but one of the advantages, in your opinion, now for user, along with some other APC officials, for suppress any other candidate will not get any of the excesses there inside the APC. And people they need for catch up, here by now. So the president, they use this as a tactic and they get the blessing of APC official them. Now let's move on to the chief minister, Lilibet. That just Rob Motfanam. It's obvious that the chief minister, Professor Senge or Dr. Moina Senge, his eyes is on the ball. What do I mean by on the ball? A day on the presidency. For now, he is the president's blue eye boy. You can see the correspondent, the communication. I mean, Professor Senge is very much in charge. I think the president Gianna lever, they, just act, and he's acting. But now it's clear cut to me that his eye is on the ball 2028. And if they act in that direction, it means that you begin for build your capital, your political capital. This is what Senge is doing. It won't be for cut and short for people that we don't understand. It won't for be the flag bearer of the SLPP come 2028. And this tripartite talk way in the head, I mean, way it very much a part of, is also helpful for him. Samora also won for continue for be flag bearer. Remember, of course, this is his second try. The first one, he failed. Of course, it's typical of candidates who does not make the mark of becoming the leader to accuse the administration in power of election rigging. So was it with Madabio, so was it with in 2012, and so was it with Samora in 2018, and so is it again with Samora in 2023. But there's something key I want for talk about quickly on this same basis, not really far away, on this same basis. Yeah. Dr. Samora just they play the same card where Marabio be play back in 2012. You see, we history is so rich politically, economically, and socially. And as a consequence, listen, we are catching a real hard time catching up, or not even catching up, but for remain consequential, for remain in tune, for remain in tandem, for see the connection, how you take over 2012, 2007 over to 2012 and 2012, all the things that were happening between to 2018, 2023. I mean, so much is happening. I mean, you can't blame people. Where do you get that kind of brain from, here for sort of factor all of this inside your head? But there are a few things that we can do and keep up in terms with. So in 2012, Marabio lost in second elections, correct? And I stand to be corrected on these things, by the way. He lost in second elections. According to the rules of the SLPP, then, a democratic party, because they were conducting elections, and then they talk about the games that play inside, that's personal, but that they talk about on the face of things, it was about elections. Manipulation, it happens on all sides. He refused for leave and begin to manipulate the system. To a point where Alpha Timbo come out because Marabio was done. The party say in bylaw, they say 2 terms, you are an ex-official, ex-officio. He refused. It turned to back and forth. It end up in a court. Supreme Court, go read the case once, you take another 6 months, then suspend them for 6 months, and then you go take another 3 months before you look 2 years, 2.5 years don't go in a 5-year term presidency. You got to imagine that. So waiting that condition, it means say these people of this kind always they buy time. They buy time because in the end, it might just play in their favor. And I just give you the example because it happened back in 2012. Marabio refused for go. And it ended up in a court and left the push and back and forth to a point where Alpha Timbo come out and say, I mean, it's laughable and say, well, now me supposed for step down. Imagine this wasn't about him. It's saying that he's supposed to be the ex-official. Marabio, this has nothing to do with Marabio. That's why Marabio continue for be the candidate. Because now, then go into the constitution, manipulate the constitution through all kind means, and it became something like regular inside the constitution, which back him. So therefore, it stayed on. Up to a point that in 2018, even before the election, that been a cause, ripples around the other chapters them abroad. I know about 1 year in London, I attend one of the meetings. I was thrown out only to go and observe, and I witnessed 2 or other scenes, and we're talking to people because they were divided on the inside. North America was the same thing. There was a lot happening. What are the type of point of Fambulem is similarly, it's not like say this na a tactic way Samora Kamara want for apply. That's why you don't begin look to me. Now a tactic way Samora Kamara want for apply. So you don't see now 1 year plus now you don't go so. 1 year plus now you don't go so. The people of Talon continue for suffer because of them 2 parties they are. So Dr. Samora is take a claim, but 1 year don't go. But on the APC bylaws, his term is over. So Tripartite provide cover for him. So we can see, or we can say, this may be part of the delay. Because in some guys, it's a blessing. And for remain relevant, tripartite stock therefore continue. All you need for imagine is what happens minus tripartite. How relevant will APC be now after tripartite? You've lost the elections, stolen, but you've lost it. You've gone into talks. The talks you've lost in the sense, I don't know waiting you don't put into place. I don't agree with the reformation of the institutions of state, the electoral process, and the conduct of officials. Because now the main focus that one day, but we get distracted with election rerun. No, the hotel agreement not be say so. Okay, so what I've been saying now is how relevant will this crop of officials be? So when the party for the build up, they prepare for 2028 in a strong fashion. Yet the old guard have refused to go. You still get Minkailu, you still get Payansane, you still get the flag bearer, Dr. Samora. And these people are still relevant to this day. They can still be relevant, but in the background, directing things from the back, preparing for handover to a younger generation. We fit in the time. But yet, then they, and trust me, this will end up in a court. I think a few days again, because it be not done. They were supposed to tell us the outcome, then buy another 10 days. 10 days get irrelevance. What's going to come? Nothing but rerun. So I go stake a claim. On that day. Last a few comments again, and then we'll just continue. True, but the people will ask when the time comes. Okay, that's the great again. He said the people will ask when the time comes. This is why I suggested that best thing Samora can do is, and this saves everybody, my brother. Just use this magic word. We need a referendum. Can we take this to the people? Suggest this to the government and see how the government react. And I'm sure they're going to say no. But at least you've done your bit, because then the public get to understand, hey, Samoa be one bring this country to the public, and the public decide, because this is about the vote of the people. The other parties are not representative there. Why? Because they self get district. They get electorates. At least they get a certain percentage of the vote. What about them? So take the talk to the people. Ask the government, can we? Let them say no. Then you don't expose them in one way. We need to stop Bio because he will continue doing it back in 2028. You make a good point, because this is a notion that I personally subscribe to. I am beginning to doubt whether Bio will even leave power, but that should they come. Will the president ever relinquish power? Whether 2028 come, because the idea here is the president has never been given the opportunity for consolidate in power. It's been very, very difficult. Had he been given the chance for consolidating power, he's going to manipulate and maneuver all their ministries and all their institutions in favor. We've seen the timeline. We've seen an outfit. We've had an insider view and an outsider view of the possibilities of that happening, which is to desecrate whatever is left of the APC, make them null and void. And of course, the SLPP, Sierra Leone People's Party, will reign supreme, and elections upon elections, which will be fraudulent, but there won't be much to do about it, because the whole thing has been rigged. The APC doesn't really matter, because they've been consigned, into some corner, not a powerful force. This is the attempt. I mean, the receipt is there, the footprint is there. Just follow the footprint and you see exactly what I'm saying. Direct nursing. I don't believe the tripartite is over yet. Okay, direct nursing, we take note. Let's see. It's just a few days. We read the announcement. Many thanks for that. Okay, Peter Dowda, a regular contributor. Age is not on the side of Samora Kamara. Of course, that is true. It's not on the side of Samora Kamara. Sniper Prince, your point about Bio's tactics that help him cling onto the flag bearer position in SLPP after 2012 gives me a fresh insight on what Dr. SK and his cohorts are thinking. Of course, I mean, this is what we do, Sniper. We try for, thought provoke, something where people are not going to think about, because that's a possibility. And if you watch with history, there is so much repeat, brother. that you can almost tell from the beginning of a new one, if you be not study with history for no say, well, this go culminate into that because it has happened before. So this is a possibility that yes, they are going to delay us as much as they can. Just watch, end up in a Supreme Court, and then it take another 2 or 3 years, and Dr. Samora still did it because it serves the interest both of the president. President don't mind Samora being there. They drag the APC into the mud because it plays to his advantage. It still get crime over Samora and Hayden. Any day, if thing want change, it drag Samora going to court. Samora cohorts them around them, like the old guards. They too want the status quo to remain the same. In the meantime, don't get me wrong, you get people in the APC who are really fighting hard to turn this over. But you see, the disadvantage is the government, they on the side of this current crop of leaders. They no want the new crop of leaders. Them body we not get no baggage at all. So this is what is happening, in my opinion. The party constitution, when you apply them, and you get for look again, party constitution. I mean, before Marabio was Pabewa and he running mate. I think Mamadou Koma was his running mate. But these people were to a certain degree very decent. Pabewa, say what you want to say about him, was a decent man. He took the back seat as soon as they come up. Not the possible can begin fed the nut chest or allow people to for die. No, he actually took the back seat. So after them pardon day now, nobody else not come up with fit that building. Famulem. About for finish this program, I'll start on the tripartite, and so I want to end on the basis of the tripartite. I will begin them, and so I want to end them. I mean, coming soon, I believe saying on Wednesday, we will provide all things seen on a screen. So the anatomy of a stolen election, how the election was stolen, both by Mohamed Kone, the manipulative trick them way people and within the All People's Congress play for aid and abet the process where they say now, then they look into. I mean, we got for look at the property and money they were involved. Some people that don't work all their lives. This is at stake. Mother Bill get that paper day before in desk with the all name Dede. Samoa Kama get two major Didibawe hangover ahead. The New York Chancery case never went away. They will not forget. That case they've been still there on when, for some reason, the political judge, Justice Edia Fisher, decide for give Dr. Samora a leave for go conduct the election. Can you imagine? You get this kind of thing, they hang over your head, and then they give the green light, say go conduct. And you feel that will not be used against you in the future, such as it's been used now. But we need for begin think. I think that resolution 4B or C, pan the tripartite what they talk about, where some people and feel say, well, APC get for come out and can read letter for letter. We have an idea. So resolution 4B or C, I'm not sure whether it's B or C, a call for the discontinuation of all politically motivated criminal cases, all politically motivated criminal cases. Criminal cases in the sense like the atrocity then that were meted out by political party, them, especially on the side of the ruling party. I mean, there's a lot that happened. We'll go look into this when we come to the anatomy of a stolen elections. When you look at what happened on the side of government, everything will look almost like smooth, except if opposition people want go campaign day or vote day, they were mercilessly beaten and the police stood by. Nothing they themselves could do because powers from above dictated that something else should happen. They shouldn't even venture. We see live videos then where people then block roads and desecrate people in homes, burn people in homes, beat people and drive people out. And they had the audacity for recording because why? Government was on their side. And they even call people their names. Some big wigs them call their name, although later on some of them dissociate themselves, but that wasn't really helpful. And all of that, now part of the thing that they look at in the elections. So calling for the discontinuation of all politically motivated cases. I don't know why. Okay, in the interest of peace, so probably that's why they're calling for that. But to whose advantage and to whose disadvantage? That's a critical question that needs to be answered. Another area of concern inside Resolution 4B and C is there also they call for the discontinuation of or the separation of corruption cases them from the criminal justice system. So what you don't understand, why you go call for separation of criminal cases them? Una don't see exactly the game we want to play. Eh? These people where they negotiate, all of them on either side are trying to save their necks because why? They're all a thief man. Them. Let's just call a thief a thief. Let's call a spade a spade. Not so because the thief man are a thief man, so you uncover a certain. No. So they are actually calling for the separation of corruption from the criminal justice system. So the criminal justice system no need for investigating cases. Then go talk and then table, half table, and then hotel agreement. Then wait and they pan. Think, Sierra Leoneans. Let me think. Let's think. They bring this country now because it's not easy. I mean, but the fact is, how long we go allow them for continue for big fool we? This not the problem. How long are we going to allow them for big fool we? Okay. We also get a case on Ali Kaba where they come up, not a case per se, but a monologue on whether Ali Kaba is an opportunist or should be taken as a serious politician. We also they hope for bring lawyer Kaloko on set very, very soon. I know they try for work on a date and time. So yes, he is coming on the platform very soon. And we'll carry a lot. I also they ask Fambulem to please subscribe to my platform. We did on YouTube. This particular broadcast is being live streamed to both Facebook and YouTube. We get under 7,000 subscribers on our YouTube. We will appreciate if you can subscribe as well. Not only subscribe, but also share and encourage family and friends for subscribing. We really appreciate that. You can also follow me on X, formerly Twitter. You can find me by typing at 1P. That's where I am. I will appreciate if you follow me. I always come up with some wonder tweets them. I'm also on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Telegram channels. You can also find me on TikTok. I will appreciate if you go do that. Okay. So let me just end this program. So you don't see them two things inside resolution 4B. Remember, tripartite talk consists of resolutions. So people and they say, well, they're not finished yet. Well, they're not finished yet. Well, I can't make the pronouncement I left. So everything I believe is being done, but maybe they can get them last minute to time thing them. So probably that's why they buy the 10 days. But as far as I'm concerned, it's all over on the basis of waiting the larger followership they expect, which is a rerun or some election runoff. I don't think so. But again, we're not that far. I could be wrong, and I'll take it back. I know when I'm wrong, I do apologize. So, but you can see inside 4B and 4C talking about the discontinuation of all politically motivated cases. So, in other words, they try for sorting out between themselves. Well, again, if not in the interest of peace and going forward, then that's fine. But who is more guilty of them politically motivated cases? Is it not the current government? Except when they went back, you want to say where Aneskoma been in power 2012, 2007, between them periods and they up to 2018. Okay, so both sides may have committed politically motivated cases. But if I believe say mine was less and yours was greater, then probably I will still want for looking to run, but it's up to them. But we Sierra Leoneans need for be smart and asking the necessary questions. One also interesting thing pan resolution 4B and C is they are suggesting, that they separate corruption cases from the criminal justice system. And you get for ask yourself, the criminal justice system now responsible for the prosecution of people them where participate or cause corruption at the country, where they deprive millions of Sierra Leoneans of the means, for a decent living. You go one thing saying that the court, the criminal justice system, go handle that. But they are now calling. And you wonder why. So is it somebody they try for save in neck? Because like I say, the flag bearer of the party right now, where they're in opposition, where they're in negotiation, Dr. Samora Kamara get two things that we hang over and head. One, now the New York Chancery criminal business, and then the other one, now the Sierra Rutal case. Then cases, then they are very much alive, and I have a strong belief that this is being used. Blackmail, if you want to call them, quite a very strong word, but as a carrot and stick approach by the current administration against the All People's Congress. So would I most likely go to call for them kind of thing there? well, you decide for yourself. Yeah. Not ever forget say that New York Chancery business and the Utah case still in at the table. Now, one thing and the way you always keep in mind, and then you understand where I'm coming from. What also our belief man is that we for always they ask questions, but for some reason we as Sierra Leoneans we don't. 75, 85% of we can just wait for let the politician them as usual package waiting the one give we and give we am and just tell we on top of waiting in another package day. When they read the package, we not care about waiting in the package, then call them a package, then package and nicely give we. And we just wait for waiting and they tell we say they inside the package and we buy into that. All of this, it has to stop. And then we'll continue for do so until we continue for ask them, question. We should not simply accept these things because it's not really called for. Finally, Famulem, on the issue of governance and the rule of law, a political culture has to change. That change they lie in our own hands, but most of us are not willing because it seems difficult, and difficult it seems because it's over a period of time. But it not necessarily get for be under me and you when we there. It can be under other people long after we gone. Remember, we try for create an atmosphere, just like some places the Musa some of we fend ourselves. There were other people who made those sacrifices so that those who come after them will find it of benefit. Can be you picking, you can picking. This is what you create. So it shouldn't be on a selfish motive about you, or me. No, it should be the other way around. So a political culture has to change, but we have to exercise patience. Patience is a good virtue. The reason I say so is because there has to be an establishment. You see, party they can come up, and most of them now, Jamawas na can connect, chance taking. We know that. But if we really sincere for change the culture of the country, we know say we get for put something forward. We will really help. I know they talk about the NGC. No. I know they talk about in current status. And they talk about the way how we become. We all know saying that be hurry, but as soon as you talk about people then get upset. But that's just the fact. The man himself at the time never had a plan. Dr. Kande never had a plan. Was just being carried, here with, Namide sit down there with money. Where sit down then people and build hope on that. That's not it. That's built on sand. It's a house of cards and it will collapse, and we've seen it. But we need for use wisdom. So if we need this cultural change in we political cycle, then we need for begin lay the foundation now on solid ground, where probably we might just take it halfway only on foundation level, but the idea is we've laid the foundation. There has to be an establishment, not a kuku chumuku party, just jump commander. You call one candidate, Dr. Mamadou Koma, because he have been minister before foreign affairs, he fly under, he go to United Nations, he make one powerful speech, that establish him, as a statesman. So when he come in, make one like party, we all get driven there, we not care about policies, the foundation, the future, what it stands for. It will never work. So we need to think more. There are many programs coming, like I say. On Wednesday, I believe, we get the anatomy of a stolen election, where we'll try to explain again many things that we know. And we'd expect lawyer Kaloko, who can break down many things with us. And we get a few other guests then we will try for bring. And finally, we just turn to the chat room. What's your take on what Sylvia Blinden said about disaggregated results? Look, Dauda, she's one of the Confucianists. Let me just put it that way. And I'm hoping that she will come back at me so that I can come back at her, so I can clap back at her. Because all she's showing is, just confusion. She wants to be a part of everything. So there was a time when she was quite relevant. I don't think she's relevant anymore. So she keeps doing this thing and causing much more division in we political culture. Many thanks for the question. Sniper, including this discontinuation of all politically motivated cases in the peace agreement instead of a speedy and transparent trial, was a sign of the conning man game. That's where scene unfolding. Sniper, you seem for day in line with me. Many thanks for that. You are absolutely right. And so exactly, Aminam. The great, thank you, Prince, for letting me express my view on your platform. Of course, my brother, as long as we keep on civil, everybody is expected, to express, your views. I mean, they can even be critical of me, and this is what I'm looking for: people who are diametrically opposed to me view and your opinion, because I love those challenges. It helps me to grow. All I ask for is that we keep it civil. Many thanks for that. Many thanks for everybody who tuned in today. Let me continue for tuning. Please spread the good word. Please share the video. If you like it, please like. Let not forget for to use the symbol then. Like or dislike. Please do. When you like and we get many likes, it help we for bring big people them, allege them, for can't critique them, for can't hold them to account, for hold them foot to fire. Okay? So until then, this is now Prince Emil Krumah on the TNN podcast. Today, the 24th on a Monday, 2024, June. And I say thank you very much for tuning in. Until we catch up again. Bye-bye for now.